Of all people in this house, Eric's the one person to convince me that I can't trust Nick, and I believed him for like, you know, until it was too late. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Of all people, Nick was the one person in this house that I could trust the most. I know where you're coming from, and we all, seriously, we're here for you, and we understand, and I know that you're having a really hard time, and, you know, we're feeling for you. We're not trying to throw you on the spot. We're not trying to throw Amber under the bus. We're trying to, you know, reveal information and have everybody be on the same page and understand what's going on. We're really, like, not trying to, you know, put you in an awkward spot, but you are.
I understand that, Dick, please. Now, my question, what conversation are you speaking of?
I'm speaking of the conversation that Eric said he walked in the room numerous times, not just once, but twice, and said this was when Nick and Zach were both in bed, because I was laying down next to Nick the whole day because I was just spending time with him, talking to him about stupid stuff and, you know, talking about whatever. And he said that they kept getting up. They're laying in bed talking about this movie game and getting up and doing fist pounds and going, "We're here till the end. We're going to take everybody down, blah, blah, blah." No, Nick knew from the POV meeting that he was going home. Nick's not an idiot. He knew he was going home. He knew the whole thing. I told him like a bunch of the situation that was going on because Nick deserved to know that he was going home. I told him that. He knew. Nick, I told him, you know, let's talk to this person, let's talk to that person, because I knew that he wasn't lying about certain things to try to get him to stay in the house. Nick didn't want to. He said, I want to spend the rest of the time spending time with you. I don't care about the game anymore, blah, 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 which pissed me off because, you know, you can be in this house and spend more time in the game, and what's the point? But he didn't care. He didn't want to. He's not going to sit there with fist pounding with Zach of all people. Are you kidding me? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's just... And it wasn't just once that Eric said he saw them. It was numerous times. And every time it just happened to be when I left the room to get a glass of water.
Now, I believe, because this is the same conversation that we were speaking of, I don't see Nick ever pounding fists and saying blah, blah, blah. I see Zach doing that. And Zach said that, yes, they've had conversations about game during Nick's final days here. So...
But at the same time, I honest to God, I was in the room numerous times when Zach would come in, he goes, "Hey, I gotta talk to you." And Nick just like rolls his eyes and, you know, either tells him to leave or he'd be like, "What's up?" Whatever. And Zach's like, you know, I might be able to swing it this way and that way. And Nick's like, okay, cool, you know, cool. And that's it. Nick didn't care. He knew he was going home and he didn't care.
I know that Nick knew
Kale knew she wasn't going home.
So he's not saying that he thinks
Kale knew she wasn't going home. How did Kale know she wasn't going home? Why was Kale eating a bowl of slop an hour before the eviction?
See, I still think that her eating a bowl of slop is just like...
Random?
Jen knew the vote. Did you tell her that she was staying?
No.
If you knew which way to vote?
Well, I was obviously going to vote to keep Kale, and Nick hadn't talked to me for the 4 days previous.
Kale knew. I've been saying for 2 weeks there's a leak in the group. I've been saying it for 2 weeks. Because, 2 hinky votes.
Well, not just that, though, but we all saw when Nick was replaced as the nominee, Kale was freaking out. She was laying around like somebody shot her. She thought he was the pawn. It was ridiculous. For 2 days, she wasn't talking to anyone. She was just sitting there like a dead body on every single couch in the house. And then all of a sudden, during the middle of the week, her spirits completely changed, and she was, "What's poppin'? What's poppin', Kale?" Like, what?
It's her twin.
No, it's
well, I told her not to be lame. Like, I mean, I'm like always trying to make people not like sad and mopey, like no matter if she's going home or not. And I did tell her like this is ridiculous. Like you know, like don't be going around like, you know, a bump on a log. Like that's what I think I actually use as a term. Like so it could have had nothing to do with her being excited. Like, I'm not saying
no,
like
it was a complete and total flip. And the same thing happened the week before. She knew she wasn't going home then. She knew she wasn't going home now. Somebody's telling her, and I've been saying it for 2 weeks. The votes, there's too many things. There's too many things. And Eric is at the bottom of every single one. Why would Eric come to me and tell me that Jen said that Nick just told her that he voted the opposite way? When that was a total and complete lie.
And not just that,
you told Eric that Nick voted the other way?
Oh, no, I told Eric
Eric came running to me right after and said that Nick voted the other way, that you told him so, and you just told Eric. Now, why is Eric getting all this information, saying from Kale and from Jen, and when they're not saying this information to anyone else, It's all going to Eric. Eric's bringing it up in these meetings. Eric's very, very convincing, no matter which way he wants to argue, no matter for who. And when it was Nick, it was, we need to decide right here and now. And nobody can waver, and nobody can go back, and nobody can falter. We have to decide this. There is no going back, no matter what. Are we agreed on that? And then what? 2 days later, he comes in after everybody is feeling pressure from everybody else to stay the same and stay the vote. And he goes, well, just for, argument's sake, let's argue Kale. And he went off like for 2 minutes why, Kale should go and this and that. And everyone's looking at each other going, no, we agreed that Nick goes. And he does that, and he's done it every single time. He gives a really convincing argument the way that he wants it to go, and then he'll give like a so-so argument on the other side in order, and then it's like, you guys all decided this. It wasn't me manipulating anyone. That's how he does it, and that's the way it's been going. He wanted Nick out from day 2. He wanted Nick out from day 2. He was the biggest of this